Have you seen these TikTokers posting videos of their alleged tics or Tourette's and seemingly getting famous for doing so?
Hey you! Hey you! Wow! Wow! Wow!
Tics and Tourette's is a legitimate condition, and I mean no disrespect to the less than 1% of the population who are legitimately diagnosed with these conditions. Tics and Tourette's is not a joking matter, and those masquerading for likes and for clout need to be called out. They need to be exposed for the scumbags that they are.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
But the increasing trend of TikTok tics is consuming social media. And I have seen more and more people in the clinical space that are presenting with these histrionic and these absurd behaviours. But as a forensic trained clinical psychologist and as a mother who had a young child with motor tics, I know a fake when I see one. And this is fake.
Send me to Canada! Wow! 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 Eat the burrito. No. One for you. Woo! Woo! Pew! 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 Mine. 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 Nope. Nope. Nope.
I mean, that's about as fake as my kid's self-care day, which really is a day to avoid all responsibility. It's just too obvious. And I'm going to tell you why. The woman in those videos, Emerald Rose, who had a page, Tics and Roses, which at its peak had over 500,000 supporters and 7 million likes. Well, she had them fooled. She had them cheering her on, supporting her, laughing at her absurdities, sending her money for her merchandise, and basically standing by her side as she asserted that she did indeed have a diagnosis, a genuine diagnosis of tics. But there really is no end to what people will do on social media for likes and for clout. Before Tics and Roses, Emerald tried her hand at other content creation, which has now resurfaced. And not surprisingly, she miraculously doesn't have tics in a lot of those earlier videos. She posted a lot of different videos earlier on, but in particular, she posted videos about Huntington's disease, which does, in fairness, have a motor component. But the movements you see in Huntington's disease are not these kind of movements. They're not these kind of tics. It's pretty obviously different to me. But maybe that's where she got her inspiration from her Huntington's. Well, that's if she even had it, and there's a lot of evidence that says she doesn't, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. The tics are not the same. The movement is not the same. But maybe the Huntington's and learning about Huntington's and finding out that it does have movement disorders and the branding and the popularity and the trending of tics on social media, maybe it gave her the catalyst to launch her Tics and Roses page. I don't know. But Emerald, when you do that kind of stuff, it makes it very hard for people to believe that maybe you do have another genuine condition. But Emerald's videos were kind of outrageous, and people started getting some suspicions about her and her authenticity, especially when her tics could be rolled out on demand, just when the cameras were rolling. Tics don't work that way, Emerald. She even has a video about nursery rhyme tics, where conveniently her tics just happen to rhyme in a rude way with whatever thing she is saying.
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock and stole his cock. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger, he's a hoe.
It all looks a little too contrived and disingenuous to me. Nevertheless, Emerald wasn't bothered by the cynics. In fact, she just buckled on down even harder and started to produce evidence of her condition. She produced a letter or a report from a specialist saying she was diagnosed with this condition, but this letter itself raised even further inquiries. There were many aspects of this report that did not look authentic, and all it did was create more suspicion around her condition. But Emerald insisted on its authenticity. But it wouldn't surprise me if she did actually con a professional into writing this report and giving her this diagnosis. I mean, I've seen this kind of ineptitude, sadly, from my peers before. I have had more than a handful of young, usually female patients come to me from other clinicians holding their professional diagnosis of tics or Tourette's, only for me to conclude within moments that this is not a genuine diagnosis, and in fact it's a case of the dreaded TIK TOK TICS. I mean, this is one highly contagious condition if you're on social media. I mean, some of my patients have actually performed TIK TOK TICS in front of me, mimicking things that I've actually seen on social media, word for word. And it's very hard to sit straight-faced through one of these assessments without cracking a smile. I mean, tics and Tourette's is very serious, but when you see this, I mean, these fake tics are so incongruent, so overtly incongruent with what you see in legitimate cases that it surprises me that anyone falls for it, to be honest. Now, whilst a lot of people, millions and millions actually, have been fooled by people like Emerald, many others have had a more healthy skepticism and have been a little more astute in their conclusions. After Emerald presented her clinical evidence, the internet sleuths got to work. And remember, once you put stuff out there on the internet, it is forever. They found a fundraiser that she had going in earlier times in support of Huntington's disease, and there were many videos that she posted where it seems her tics were curiously absent completely. So it made sense that people started questioning whether her Huntington's disease diagnosis was accurate also. Then in May 2021, at the height of all this curiosity and allegations, a comment from user Jade4101 claimed she was Emerald's sister and shed some new light on the situation. Jade made a statement saying Emerald and their mother had severed all communication with Jade and the other family members for quite a while. Jade also said she wanted to clear up some misconceptions and stated that whilst Huntington's disease, a genetic disease, was indeed in their family, she did not know Emerald to ever have symptoms or even symptoms of Tourette's when they were growing up, which is in stark contrast to what Emerald says. Emerald says she had the condition since she was a young child. Whilst Jade disputes this, Jade does say she believes Emerald and the mother are mentally unwell and do need help. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. She goes on to extend an apology for Emerald, which she really didn't have to do, and she claims what her sister did was grossly disrespectful to people who genuinely suffer from this condition. Emerald came back with her own response to Jade, which is very painful to read and reeks of defensiveness, entitlement, and self-pity. Emerald essentially blames everyone else and takes no accountability for her own behaviour. Instead, she focuses on how she was just trying to help people, educate people, raise awareness, and help change people's lives for the positive. She says she donated any money she got to charity. I don't know about that. But to top it all off, she says the bullying and the harassment that she's endured through all of this has caused her to give up everything and go back to living in complete shame for being different. A day after this statement, her TicsandRoses account was deleted. 3 days after that, she made a video addressing the situation, which surprisingly featured 0 tics. She said she was tired of being bullied and harassed and just asked everyone to leave her alone. The next day, her TicsandRoses account was permanently deleted. Now, this story bothers me a lot because of how gullible and how vulnerable some people can be. The impact and the reach of social media, particularly in certain age groups and populations, cannot be underestimated. And the TIK TOK TICS don't end with Emerald. There are many, many out there. In fact, I saw one just yesterday where there was a girl filming her tics in the classroom. I mean, that wouldn't happen if I was the teacher. Even mental health illnesses are trending now, and tics certainly is a condition that will get attention. But for the majority of people with real tics and Tourette's, they don't like the attention these conditions bring upon them.
And I just wanted to reiterate that Tourette syndrome is not a joke. It is not something funny. It is not something that teeny boppers should desire to have. It's not cute. It's not quirky. It's really, really debilitating, and it is a disability.
It's not something they thrive on and enjoy. It's a disabling condition that causes a lot of social, relational, and occupational dysfunction. It impacts their lives in very real and very meaningful ways, and it is anything but a joke. I do hope Emerald gets the help she needs, which isn't for tics, but something isn't quite right if you need to behave like this in order to get attention. My best guess is she probably needs some kind of support with self-esteem, probably with interpersonal relationships, and I dare say there's some personality variables present there too. Sadly, there are many more emeralds on social media, and whilst I'm not here to list or shame them all, I do caution viewers of such content, especially the young females who may already struggle with anxiety disorders. Please harbour a certain degree of skepticism when you're watching these kind of videos. As long as social media prevails and continues to have this kind of stronghold over the minds of our young people, I'm confident my work in diagnosing TikTok tics is far from an end. But if you are a person who genuinely is concerned you may have tics or Tourette's or some other kind of movement disorder, I urge you to get proper medical help and support, because there are many strategies, interventions and therapies that can help reduce these behaviours. They are often grounded in anxiety, and anxiety, as we know, is a modern day pandemic on its own. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other and have a very happy and peaceful day. Bye for now.